When most people picture Iran, they think of international nuclear negotiations, Persian poetry, and vibrant, beautifully arched bazaars. But the surface is only the most recent addition. Thousands of years of history sit buried under layers of earth and stone, each century leaving its mark directly on top of the last. Understanding this country requires starting at the highest physical point. Outside the city of Yazd, two rocky hills are topped with stark, circular platforms known as Dakma, the Towers of Silence. For centuries, Zoroastrians believed that a dead body would pollute the sacred elements of earth, water, and fire. To follow their faith, they carried their dead to these summits, leaving the remains exposed for vultures to consume, returning the body to nature without touching the soil. This wasn't a distant ancient practice. It was still active in the late 1960s. The 1970 official ban on sky burials was a response to rapid urbanization and a shrinking vulture population that could no longer keep pace with the growing cities. These towers represent the boundary where ancient ritual meets the modern world. To see how else the earth has shaped life here, the path leads further down. At ground level, in the hills of Khorasan, an abandoned mud brick village sits in total silence. Local residents refuse to enter the ruins after sunset, citing an old legend of a curse that turned the well water bitter and filled the rooms with the shadows of the unborn. The fear has a physical origin. The village sits atop geological fissures that leak sulfur gases into the homes. In high concentrations, these gases trigger intense headaches and paranoia, causing people to see and hear things that aren't there. In the city of Hamadan, the history is even closer to the surface. It is one of the oldest inhabited cities in the world, and for the people living there today, a forgotten medieval nightmare sits just a few feet beneath the pavement. During the Middle Ages, the Silk Road brought more than spices to Hamadan. It brought the plague. Historical records describe a city so overwhelmed by death that normal cemeteries couldn't hold the bodies, forcing officials to dig massive, unmarked trenches outside the original walls. As the city expanded, those mass graves were paved over and forgotten. Today, when construction crews dig trenches for modern water pipes or fiber optics, they frequently hit thick layers of human bone, uncovering a map of a disaster that the city is still physically resting upon. The past in Iran isn't a separate destination. It is an active participant in the present, defining the very ground of modern urban life. Survival here has always required looking deeper into the earth. Mountain Cave. Researchers found 7,000-year-old skulls with precise holes drilled into them. The healed bone proves these patients survived prehistoric brain surgery. That same drive for survival led to the construction of Nooshabad. It is a massive 3-story city carved entirely into the limestone, designed to hide an entire population from invading armies for weeks at a time. The architecture was built for defense. Tunnels were carved so narrow that enemies had to crawl, vulnerable to defenders in side slits. At junctions, the path splits. One leads deeper, the other ends in a deadly drop into a pitch-black well. Amidst these brutal defenses, archaeologists found a small leather child's shoe. It's a stark artifact of the families who lived in total darkness, listening to the muffled thunder of enemy horses riding over the ground above them. From medical intervention to architectural hiding places, the Iranian earth has served as a primary tool for human endurance. But at the deepest natural levels, the land behaves in ways that still challenge scientific explanation. This is the Valley of Jinns, a remote canyon in the heart of the Zagros Mountains. After the sun sets, a rhythmic, metallic thumping echoes through the valley, sounding like a slow hammer strike. While geologists can attribute some sounds to thermal expansion in the rocks, other phenomena recorded here are more difficult to categorize. Researchers monitoring the valley have documented sudden, localized temperature drops of up to 10 degrees Celsius in just a few minutes. These shifts occur without any measurable change in wind direction or cloud cover, appearing as a purely internal geological event. Even with modern sensors, the deepest layers of this landscape remain unpredictable, governed by forces that science is still struggling to map. While the mountains hold mysteries of the past, a far more tangible geological crisis is currently reshaping the country's future. It is a man-made phenomenon, occurring in real time beneath every major city. To maintain agriculture through drought, Iran relies on over 700,000 deep wells. These pumps drain aquifers faster than they replenish. Underground water provides structural pressure. As water is removed, the soil loses its foundation and physically collapses into the voids. This has triggered land subsidence on a massive scale. Satellite monitoring shows that in several regions, the ground is sinking by 30 centimeters per year, an irreversible geological shift that cannot be undone even if the pumping stopped tomorrow. The consequences are visible everywhere. Massive fissures are splitting apart modern apartment complexes in Tehran and Isfahan, and the 2,500-year-old stone monuments of Persepolis are now resting on a plateau that is structurally failing. The Iranian people have survived plagues, invasions, and a harsh climate by integrating the Earth's layers into their culture. But as the ground itself continues to sink, they are left to navigate a landscape that is physically disappearing beneath them.